are delicious.
And nutritious.
And nutritious.
You're chumps. You're suckers.
I would never persuade anybody.
You don't have the power to offend me.
Well, I'm here representing the original Boston Tea Party. We're dressed in a Joseph Warren costume.
I'm just here to meet hot Tea Party women.
To tell you the truth, I started actually looking into politics when I was in first grade. I remember looking on Nickelodeon when they had the election stuff in 2000. I got really interested during the 2004 campaign looking at it, then I got active during the 2008 campaign, and I've been active ever since.
My good friend Sarah Palin, very tight. She's
hiding from you.
Exactly. Someone told her I'm here. Crap. It stinks.
Don't use that language.
Ow!
Early in the morning because we want to save our country, stop socialism, and stop crappy healthcare.
I want to repeal Obamacare, and basically I want to get all the progressives out of Congress, bomb out of the White House.
You're here and you love America. Let me hear you say yeah. We are the Tea Party!
And
you
we
cannot
are
stop
Tea.
the movement! You're here because you're tired of what our politicians are doing in Washington! Let me hear you say yeah! If you don't want to eat peas, you should have the option to eat peas! Because this is America! And if you're ready to give the power back to the people, let me hear you say yeah!
Very creative. I like that. Yes. But what you're saying is that those folks out there are shouting and they're not listening. But I'm here to listen to you, and I want to hear what you have to say. Besides the peace stuff, we know that you're against the Tea Party. But what do you support besides the Tea Party? Like philosophically, politically, what do you support?
You've been called everything. You've been called hate mongers, swastika brandishers, and brown shirts, and that's just by members of Congress. Here's my deal with the folks in the media. MSNBC, here's my deal. If you'll ignore the one ranting maniac kook you find on the edge of the crowd somewhere, we promise to ignore Keith Olbermann. How about that? Is that a deal? Swap, swap.
Pretty much peas.
I'm not going to shout over you. I want to hear what you have to say.
All right, well, I mean, I'm here today to talk about peas. I'm not here to talk about my political views. This is not about politics. This is about peas.
Every day you get up in the morning and you roll out of bed way too early and you reach that coffee because you think it's your job to pay your bills. Then you drag your snotty kids out of bed, I got 4 of them, and you put them in clothes and you tell them how to act because you think it's your job to raise your kids.
Essentially, you guys are fools. Is that what you're telling me? And you really don't have an
We are
opinion?
childish and immature.
Then you go to work and you bust your butt and you try to find a way to be smarter and more efficient and create more wealth.
If you walk in the common any given day and there's a homeless man asking for money, how many people do you think that you would say?
You want to help the homeless? I would take that person, give them a skill so that they can fend for themselves. You give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. You teach him how to fish, you teach them how to sustain them for a lifetime. That's the answer, it is. Making people dependent on the government kills their spirit, kills their work ethic, and they become wards of the state.
And then you finally come home after your second job and you sit down in front of the TV and you click it on, there's the news. Politicians say you're not doing enough. Give more money, be patriotic.
How did people survive before big government programs in the 1800s? You think they all died? The community, the church, family, neighbors helped them out. We can go back to that system instead of sending it to Washington, D.C., some bureaucrat who has no clue about what this person's need is, decides, oh, Boston gets $100,000. Why? That's inefficient. Keep the local control.
You get beaten down, smacked down, called names. And then, so what do? You finally, oh my gosh, I know, calm down media, you get mad.
In Europe, you have very few entrepreneurs because you know what the top tax rate is? In Finland, 80%. If 80% is going to the government, why should I work harder?
Okay.
You don't think that impacts the national revenue and the tax revenue?
So then, you take time off work, hire a babysitter for your kids, get someone to cover your job so you can come down here so they can insult you and call you haters because you're paying attention. You're chumps. You're suckers. And you know what? This country was built on chumps and suckers like you, and I'm proud to be one of you. Call me a chump. I do it. I pay my bills. I pay my taxes, and I am proud of you. I am Michael Graham. Now let's go on.
My name's Sean Harrington. This is
Connor Burns.
We're in an AP government class. Personally, I'm a conservative, so but you know, we got our mix of people here.
Some of the ideas of the Tea Party are just a little ridiculous, to be honest.
But the thing that draws us together is we all have an appreciation for what's going on here and people's rights, and we think it's really a great thing that this is happening.
Right.
Being conservative in this state is hard because nobody understands me because I'm young, and everybody's like, oh, you're young, you should be like, you know, go for Obama and liberal, and I'm like, no, because I know what he's for and my needs don't fit with his. I would never persuade anybody. I would pretty much base the facts and say, hey, here are the facts, what are you for? I would never be like, oh, you should be conservative, you should be liberal. No, because that's just not the way you win someone's argument, that's just not the way you win someone's, you know, judgment.
I think the Tea Party gets associated with different political perceptions, and it's usually thrown at the right-wing conservative. But I think in hearing what the Tea Party has to say, I think it's more of a libertarian standpoint, and I think it's outside of the regular spectrum, which is what it's good for. It offers a different perspective into how the two-party system that we have. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be a third party or anything. Who knows? But
I think it might be.
I think it could be, but I think there's definitely an outside perspective that's a great thing for everyone.
You usually never hear two sides of the story. It's always the left side that you're hearing, and that's not fair and that's not right. So, and that's what I'm here to do. Change that. Say, hey, listen, there are two sides. Listen to the other side, then make your decision.
I do agree that the conversation about who is the Tea Party is a way to distract from what is the Tea Party about. Nobody. When there were anti-Bush protests in the Bush presidency, no one said, "Who are those people? Why are they waving those signs?" No, they just said, "Hey, there's an argument they're making about the war. Is their argument good or bad?" But we are kind of trapped in a media vortex, where the media keeps insisting that there's something wrong with us for showing up. So I agree fundamentally with Eric that what we need to do is focus back on why we're here. We're here because the nation faced a great economic crisis, and we looked to our leaders, and our leaders did what they always do: cover their butts, give money to their rich friends, and screw us. And so it's time for us to stand up and say, no, sorry, our country will take this back, please, thank you.
Governor Sarah Palin!
Thank you so much for letting me be here. Thank you.
We were going to sponsor a live caribou to break across the back just so she could show off, but unfortunately the Parks Department would not let us do that. I'm sorry.